Hey, what's up? Okay, I'll keep this quick. I'm going to talk about a research paper I listened to the other day. I know that sounds weird, but like with Google's Notebook LM, you can upload papers and listen to a podcast version of it. It's really cool. We recommend it, especially if you're like a person who moves around a lot and just wants to listen to some insightful stuff. So I was reading this research paper called Generative Ghost, Anticipating Benefits and Risk of AI Afterlives by Meredith Ringo Morris and Jed R. Brubaker. Really cool paper. And the gist of it essentially was exploring this idea of basically after you die, after you pass away, there's an AI version of you that kind of serves as a ghost. I think the best example I can think of is for those who are familiar with Superman comics, think of how his parents, Jor-El, and his mom's name, who I've never heard actually, now I think about it, and his mom, how they have their own AI ghost versions of themselves that aren't actually them, but they have the personality and knowledge of them, so they kind of serve as a replica of them. So it was dealing with the implication of that, the impact, the threats, the risk to all of it, and it was really interesting. I think on one hand, from a practical standpoint, I don't think it's necessary. A point that was mentioned in the paper, at least in the podcast I was listening to about, is what if you want to create like an AI CEO, like in the workforce and in the job market? Would this affect how many new people get hired? Because let's say you have a really good employee and you have an AI version of him or her or they or whoever, right? You have an AI version of them. And then you're thinking, okay, low-key, best employee, they just passed away, bless their soul. But now I have an AI version of them. I can just keep on doing the work forever and ever. I think maybe this relates to the idea of severance. Afterwards, that's just an apple. But I think would that affect the job market? Would less people get hired? And I think, in my opinion, you would even, let's say you get to a point where an AI is so efficient that can do the work of an actual person with like no need for breaks or anything like that. I don't think you would need an AI version of a person. I think you just need an AI that may give like the context window that person had when doing the job. So I was like, I don't think it's going to be a big thing in the job market. I think where the biggest impact is socially, right? I think when it comes to losing the loss of a loved one or with therapy and stuff like that, I think that's where the biggest implications lie. I think it has like they brought up a good point. Like let's say you lost someone and you kind of want to have closure with them. I feel like that would be really scary because then you could gain these attachment issues to this AI version of the lost loved one. I think it's scary to think about. I don't know if I've seen much fiction or just stories dealing with the concept, but I think it's really interesting. An example that was brought up in the podcast was how if you're a friend group of young kids and like one kid passed away, bless their soul, they would have a friend to grow up alongside them. And then the question that was actually brought up with there was like, how would the AI grow up if it will at all? Like, would the AI stay the same age? I guess this kind of goes into the whole idea of ghosts and everything. Like, would the AI stay the same age? How do you make sure the AI stays consistent as a person? What's the AI allowed to say? Who controls the AI? Would the family be able to say the AI should be turned off? Because imagine if Dr. Minkbirth, like imagine if Dr. Doofenshmirtz said he wants an AI version of himself after he died, but his daughter, Veronica, after like 20 years, like, nah, shut that thing off. But like he wanted the AI version of himself. So that's an interesting thing. Or maybe there's a situation where the family has come to appreciate the AI version of a lost loved one, but then the company is shutting down. So what happens? Does the AI person just die again? It's an interesting idea. I think it's scary to think about. I don't think, or really, I think it's possible. The biggest issue is just uploading that much of a person and processing that data and making like actually the person themselves. I think is the biggest thing. But like, if it sounds like the person, if it looks like the person, like get an AI video generator or whatever, then that's maybe close enough. Like I don't say, like every time I speak, I don't say everything about myself in the last 18 years, right? So I imagine an AI replica of myself wouldn't be doing the same thing. So it's a really interesting paper. I do recommend it. I'm going to try and link the paper in the description. Definitely check it out. Google DeepMind is actually doing a bunch of cool stuff. But yeah, besides that, I have so much else. There's a bunch of stuff I want to say clear about this paper, but time is getting limited. So besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.